do you want to do the beer review, Scotty?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right. So
may as well.
you want to do first? Go first. Or want me to go first?
I can kick it off.
All right, I'll let you kick it off here. Hold on, and bang, there we go.
All right. Kind of upset Steve isn't here. I wanted to show him up with getting a
And now,
large bottle today. He always comes in with the large bottle. So, all right.
geez,
So,
that is a large bottle. Look at that thing.
well, now I don't have to get another beer to sidecar with it. So I ended up going with a Lagunitas beer. Had a lot of their stuff. I think the something something ale is probably one of the best out. Um, but this one I saw for the first time in the stores probably a month or so back, and I had been meaning to pick it up. Uh, I'm a big hop fan, and I'm always looking for stuff that'll really knock your socks off. So this being named Hop Stupid Ale seemed right up my alley. Um, the IBUs, I know a few weeks back we were talking about IBUs. This one comes in at 102. Um,
Hello.
so this should be interesting. I was reading a little about it, and the to make sure some of the other flavors of the beer, the malts and what have you, to make sure they come through, they actually used hop extract,
Oh,
which I have heard of Sierra Nevada in some of their beers. They have, I believe they have one where they use a hop extract. So it'll be interesting to see how this tastes.
so how do they do a hop extract?
Well, instead of actually adding in the either your dried hops or what have you, or the pellet hops, um, it's just like your malt extract. It would be an extract like that.
Well, I mean, we grow hops in the backyard. I'm wondering if they like squeeze the hell out of them and just kind of get all the juices out of it. Because if you squeeze a hop, and we can get this in a little bit later, you do get some like residue that comes out of there. So I'm not sure how that if I'm gonna have to look that up because that would be one way of not wasting all the bloody hops that we have in the backyard. So
Yeah, there you go. Of course, you know how much time and effort's involved in doing that. That's a whole nother story.
that's true. It's like making olive oil out of an olive tree you grow in your backyard. It's not worth it, right? So
All right. Definitely you get the hops right off with the scent. Smells really good. Definitely hoppy. You get some citrus, some piney in there. Um, and they were right. It doesn't completely destroy your palate from tasting some of the other flavors from the malts. It's pretty good. I'd be surprised to see how it says at the end of the bottle if I can taste anything.
so that hop oil, you're saying that hop extract, right? I mean that's adding a more bitterness to it, but it's not
But I think you're getting your bitterness from it,
okay.
but or so they said. I've never dealt with it, but in reading a little about this beer, they said they use the extract for the ability to not have it kind of overpower to get the bitterness, but not overpower the other flavor components of the beer.
Okay.
So I can definitely, I mean, the hops are there. Don't get me wrong at all. Clocking at 102 IBUs, they're definitely right up and forefront in this beer. But other flavors do come through. You would think with 102 IBUs that you're just tasting bitter, bitter, bitter.
Well, I mean, because I've had some double IPAs that have been like extremely offsetting bitter. I think if I'm not mistaken, and someone might have to verify this for me, but I think like the 120-minute IPA by Dogfish is 100 is like over 100 IBUs if I'm not mistaken. But
I'm not sure.
I think it's like the it's different, right? I mean, the flavors are different, the complexity is different, even from the 60-minute front to the 90-minute in Dogfish Head's IPA. The flavor complexity is that way, but still the IBUs are super high. You know, but again, that hop extract is super interesting. I mean,
So it's with the 60, 90, and 100-minute IPAs, is the minute number there, is that tied to at what point in the boil they add the bittering hops? Is that what it is, or?
I think so. I actually have a 120 that I've been saving for several years. It's probably one of the first beers that I've ever cellared, and it's in my basement. One day we're gonna have to open that up, and I was thinking maybe next month when we get around to actually do some brewing. What I'll do is I think maybe I'll bring some of the beers that I did some side by sides, and maybe we can just kind of talk about that while we're
Yeah,
brewing as well. So that'd be kind of fun. Now, is this beer brewed year round?
that I don't know. Like I said,
Or fast?
this is the first year I've seen it.
Okay.
Um, I don't know if it's a seasonal for them or if it's something that is part of their regular rotation. I'm not really sure.
I'm just looking up real fast. It is a year round beer. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, it's a year round beer.
Very cool.
I'll have to look for that bad boy.
So the one thing that came to my mind when getting a hoppy beer, have you ever heard somebody refer to a beer as dank?
Yes, and I still have no bloody clue what that means.
So
I understand. I've heard it referred to when someone's talking about like marijuana.
yeah, so I looked it up. All right,
Okay.
and it definitely has that connection, and um, people use the term dank when you, I guess, get the same sense as in smelling and feel of marijuana. So it's kind of used in the same note, but it then brought me to a whole another area of people and the different hops and the taste they get out of them. And there is a hop, it's actually Simcoe,
Okay.
that certain people find has a cat piss taste. Now,
Oh.
two things about this.
Yeah.
Number one is I don't know how anybody can compare it unless they've actually tried cat
Cat
piss.
urine. Yeah.
Um, and the other is at that point, wouldn't you stop drinking it or enjoying that Simcoe hop in beer? But I hear Simcoe all around. People love that hop. And it seemed like that's the main one that people refer to as having a cat piss flavor.
Speaking of cat, right behind you.
Yeah, this is Jenny. She likes to join in every week.
What's up, Hellman? So, Dark Hair Beauty wanted to know if there's a lot of things floating in it.
In this beer?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some chunks floating around.
So that's like the hop residue that might be,
I'm not really sure.
or like the yeasty. Huh.
I'm not sure. I don't let it stop me though.
Nah, never do. Never do. I always go and just sip down the end scum, as they call it, at the bottom, or the leftover dead yeast that have
Yeah,
ended up in the bottle.
it could
Swirl it around.
it definitely could be that. I definitely wasn't overly careful in carrying this beer over to me from the fridge, so I could have shaken up a lot that was on the bottom.
Well, Dark Hair Beauty, what did you mean by things floating into it? I mean, are we kind of hitting it on the head there? Are you looking to see if there's like, because of the IBUs, you think there's just a lot of chunks floating in it, or I mean, I don't. I gotta readjust my camera. There we go. Yeah, I always like taking the even a lot of beers actually have that, especially if you've been cellaring them for a while too. You have like a lot
Yeah.
of like things that are just at the bottom,
Hmm.
the dead yeast that just comes back and is just glorious. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll have to do a little research and see, what that's all about. But as I continue to drink this, it they definitely did a really good job. It's you definitely get the hoppiness, but it's not at all overpowering, which I expected when I first picked it up.
oh,
Um, Big fan. I would buy this again.
hmm.
Absolutely.
What was this? The last time I had a beer with a lot of hops, had a lot of hops that had a lot of floaties. She's saying so, you know. But with the use of the beer the hop extract, right? I mean, wouldn't that because if you the pellet, that dissipates and goes in there, and if it's unfiltered, sure you might get some stuff like that. But you know, what was the beer you had? Dark Hair Beauty. What was the beer that you had last time that had all the stuff? If you can remember, you know. I know with like stouts and stuff, you just can't see it. It's just too bloody dark.
Right.
You're not gonna get any of that stuff.
I've found even with the Stone Mocha IPAs that I have, I bought a 6 pack of them a while ago, and probably over 6 months ago, and early on they were crystal clear, and now when I open them, there's definitely chunks. So something is
Hmm.
happening.
Oh, I don't know. Hopefully it's
Yeah.
not. But it's like a bottled beer, right? So it's
Yeah.
not like the lining of the can
Yeah.
flaking
Yeah.
off.
It's bottled. So
Huh?
I don't know, but it's something definitely to look up and get a little more info on. So
Yeah.
to be continued next
Well,
week.
yeah. We'll have to do some research on that and see exactly why that is there. My camera's just not in the right position here. Sorry, guys. Just gonna readjust here a little bit. Yeah, cause what was I thinking here? We had even with our homebrew, I've seen stuff like that because I still have some of the homebrew downstairs from our last session. I can't remember what we even brewed, but I'm gonna pop it open one day and be like, oh right, it was this. Uh, the last time I had it, it wasn't the honey ale. The honey ale was that wasn't that, but
It's
it
probably
was
the Harvest Ale we brewed a lot of.
yeah, which we haven't brewed in a long time. I don't know if that's something you want to do this next go round or try something different.
Sounds
Maybe we'll figure out.
sounds good to me.
Yeah, that was always good. Oh, we don't have any. What we used to do, guys. Well, it's been a while. I can't remember the last time we brewed. Guys, maybe a year or two before Owen,
Yeah.
and Owen's
Probably,
two.
yeah.
So
Probably 3 years ago, to be
yeah,
honest with you.
Jesus, it's been that long.
Mm.
Wow, I feel like a epic beer failure here. Um, but like we used to, because I grow hops in my backyard, and it's getting time in the spring where the rhizomes are going to start producing everything. And what we would do is we would harvest all the fresh hops, and I would either dry them out in packets and put them in somewhere until we use it, or one time, one of the beers, we ended up taking and picking all the hops, and then just throwing all the fresh hops in, right into the I was in like the boil, right? Or was it did we dry hop with the fresh hops? We'll have to look back because I know you have notes. So
Yeah, no, we definitely put it in. I think two different occasions. One time we put it in before into the primary for the fermentation, and another time we put it in into the secondary.
right, yeah, it was made by a friend. It was made by a friend in his garage, and so homebrewed. Oh, all right.
Mm.
Maybe it has to do something with the homebrew then. Homebrew though.
Well,
Um,
a lot of different hops have the pine flavors.
yep.
A lot of that. So
Yeah. Very tasty.
I believe Simcoe has some pine flavors in it. So dark haired beauty, you may have been drinking cat piss.
That would be horrible. I've never heard of cat piss being a flavor that you get from a beer. That's
Look it up. People are talking about it everywhere.
all right. I'm gonna have to look this up. This
It
is
it definitely shocked me, and what a lot of well, maybe you don't want to look it up because there were some comments of people saying that they never noticed it, and now that they tried certain beers where people said the
Simcoe was
cat
in it.
piss flavor came through, um, that's all they can taste now. So
Ah, but
you may
again,
want to just disregard.
but again, I mean, like you would have to actually have a reference, like you said. I mean,
Yeah.
who?
The only thing I can think of is, with hops, and you get such a strong flavor in your mouth, and because your all your scent glands are there, that you're kind of getting both together.
Maybe.
And as a cat owner, you have absolutely been around cat piss and had that kind of smell and sensation. So maybe it's similar to that. I don't know.
Or maybe they were sitting next to a cat box while they're drinking the beer, and that probably was their issue. They smelled it,
Maybe.
and now they associate it. I don't know.
Maybe,
People with
maybe
small,
so.
people small. Yeah, it's like, it's like going in and drinking your beer while by dealing with Owen. It's like, oh, good. Now I associate that with this. Um, so funny thing is, Scotty, I'm actually going the same glass tonight. By the way.
Yeah, so Ted, I sent you a message the other day.
Yeah, I saw that.
I know when we first started uh, these beer reviews, I was strictly in pint glass or out of the bottle. And I believe we actually were talking about glass styles, and I said, at the end of the day, everything should be drank out of a pint. But lately, this tulip glass is really growing on me. I don't know why.
It's a good tulip glass. It's one of the only ones I own in my
Yeah.
house. But yeah.
I think it's because it actually makes me feel a little classy. I think that's what it is.
Well, yeah, I went with it tonight because the beer I'm reviewing is actually a imperial stout and barley wine blend aged in rum barrels. So I was like, this is going to be, it's 12%. So I was like, I need something to sip it out of. That would explain why nobody kisses me under the mistletoe. Because of cat.
Because there were pine notes, and she was drinking cat piss. That makes sense to me.
Okay, I get it now. I had to think about that one. It was just a little bit there. All right, I'm gonna jump into it because I'm getting thirsty. I'm really curious about this beer here.
I'll tell you what, real quick, Ted.
Oh, go ahead, Scotty.
I don't know if you can see through this bottle, but down at the bottom, it is quite chunky.
Oh, cloudy. Yeah.
So we'll see once I pour it into the glass. But
man.
yeah, it's this beer has some chunks in it.
That's gonna be but that's still the extra goodness. You want to keep that,
Yeah.
I'm
not worried about it.
No, nor am I. All right, so guys, today I'm doing Clown Shoes. This is the first time I'm reviewing a Clown Shoes beer, by the way. And there's two reasons why I chose this beer. First of all, the epic picture that's on here. I have no idea what the hell this thing is, but I kind of want to find it and make it a pet. So, but it looks like a dragon horse with a unicorn horn.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like a unicorn gargoyle.
Oh, and by the way, he's holding Thor's hammer. Look at that damn thing. I mean, in his tail. That is epic. I just noticed that. Holy crap. Yeah. That's a dragon horse with a Thor's hammer. So, besides being a kick-ass label here, right? This was also recommended to me by a guy that I was at one of the local beer shops, and man, I'm just readjusting this thing big time tonight. So the guy said that this is a very limited beer, and I was looking it up too. So this was only brewed once. So this is the probably one of the only times we're going to be able to get this beer right here, and it's called Hammer of the Beast. And again, the epic picture that it is that's on it kind of drew me to the beer, along with the recommendation here. It is an imperial stout, like I said, imperial stout and barley wine blend. I'm assuming it just says imperial stout and barley wine ale, aged in rum barrels. Now, I'm not really typically a fan of barley wines. I find them very strong, but the fact that this was blended. Now I had to think about that blending two beers together. Basically, are you brewing two beers and then just kind of merging them together in some fashion, or aging them and merging them in one fermenting, like in a secondary fermenter. I'm not really too sure, but and then putting them in, or maybe that's what they did. They put it in the rum barrels, and made two beers. Focus camera. Anyway, it's not working. Aged in rum barrels. So this is the first time and probably the only time we're gonna find this thing. A little sad about that, but I'm expecting it to be a really dark beer. Like I said, it's about 12% that we're doing here. Yeah, that's pretty dark because of the Imperial Stout.
Oh my God, that is dark.
Oh my God, that's a lot of flavor going on in there. I get like a little bit of the raisin from it, and I'm not sure if that's like from the barley wine, but you can tell that this is high alcohol. It is a very colorful label. I'm really happy about that. This is gonna be one of the bottles I save. I'm gonna put that up there as as a showpiece. It's so cool. Yeah. So I mean, the color is super dark. Look where. So, besides that raisin, there's some other scent I hear I can't really identify. When I first smelled it, I thought it was like coffee, but I don't think coffee is in this at all. I'm just gonna give it a taste. This is actually quite smooth. There's only very small hint of like an alcohol on the back end of the flavor here. It has been warming up for about past like 15 minutes, or so. So, well, a little bit longer than that. So this thing is about room temperature. So I'm getting like all sorts of different flavors coming out of here when I'm tasting it. I don't really get a lot of the harshness that I get from barley wine. I think like the chocolate malts that are used with inside as part of like Imperial Stout is kind of cutting that. And I think that's one of the things that I don't like about barley wines in the first place. Is that when you're sipping it, the alcohol is just way overpowering. It feels like to me it's almost like I'm not taking a shot, not that bad, but it's just a very strong alcohol flavor in barley wines. So I generally avoid them, like I said. But this is very, very mellow as far as the I guess the impression of alcohol on your palate, right?
You get any of the cherry coming through?
You mean the rum?
Didn't it say something about cherry or no?
No, it's a Imperial Stout and barley wine aged in rum barrels. And now that you say that, that's probably what else I'm smelling in here that I wasn't able to identify. That rum, that maybe that little bit of like that sweetness from the rum. It's definitely, I don't taste the rum on the forefront here.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, I don't really drink rum that often, so maybe there is.
Maybe you'll start drinking it because this sounds very good.
I'm not gonna drink rum. It's one of the things like I don't like drinking hard alcohol. Well, you know this, but you guys might not. Maybe I've never said it before. I don't drink hard alcohol. It goes bad places. Next thing you know, I'm in the middle of like a field. I ran into a fence in front of a train, and I woke up and I still have my pants on. So other than that,
as long as you had your pants on, then maybe I don't know. I'm gonna leave it there.
Well, yeah, it could be worse, but and that actually happened, by the way. I ran into a fence that was in front of a train track, and then but I was drunk. I had maybe like 10 Long Island iced teas, and Scott knows that was the bane of my existence. There's been other things that happened because of those, because of Long Island iced teas.
I think they're the bane of everyone's existence.
Oh God, it was a harsh day. But I was just lucky that Jeff, Scott's brother, came and found me. Christine wasn't happy, but
That doesn't matter.
I, I do my best, guys, and then I fail. Most of the time, I fail. So
That's life, and that's when you know you're enjoying it, though.
if you can remember that part, then yes, definitely, I agree. So I'm guessing what the flavor that I'm tasting is more like the oaky from the wood of the rum barrels. Some of the sweetnesses in here is definitely from that rum barrel. Imperial stouts normally are a little bit sweeter, so but again, the barley wine, I'm not getting much of it, and I think it's because the chocolate malts are really kind of covering up a lot of the harshness of the of barley wines, and maybe I just haven't been drinking good barley wines, but this is super smooth. I would say this goes down way too.
I'm invincible.
Fool me.
You're a loony.
Probably for running into a fence and getting not having. Yeah, but it could be worse. Yeah, I would say if you find a bottle of this, I'm actually quite enjoying this. The scent is very nice. Actually, I think Anne would probably enjoy this as well.
I can't say I've ever found clown shoes around me.
Really?
Well, if they distribute to New Jersey, I would assume they do. If they're in PA, they have to be in NJ.
It's not always true, because there are several different breweries that are in New Jersey that I can't find here.
I mean, I think the only time I've ever had Clown Shoes beer is at the Newtown Brewfest.
Yeah, they're always there.
Yeah.
Tim always brings them in, and they do some pretty epic stuff. Not only just because of their epic labels, but I mean, again, that is so cool. Absolutely keeping this one.
I'm definitely a big fan of labels as well. That if it has a good label, I probably will buy it.
Yeah. Well, that's how I started collecting the Marilyn Merlot stuff, right? Because I'm a big fan of Marilyn Monroe, and so when that wine came out, that's how I started collecting that stuff. But you actually open a bottle of that. I know we're getting off topic here, but it's actually really good wine.
Yeah. So funny. I think I've told you, Ted, about this. Funny story about those bottles is I actually had one in the trunk of my car during summer. And by the time I finally pulled it out, it had gotten so hot, and the wine had gotten so hot that it actually forced the cork about halfway out. And some wine actually came out and down the side of the bottle. So I basically said, you know what, this is probably shot. But over the years, it kind of just traveled with me. And then my wife and I bought our first house, and probably 2 or 3 years into the house, we were moving something around, and she's like, "What the heck happened to this bottle?" So I told her the story, and she said, "Just dump it." So I pulled the cork, and I was about to dump it, and I said, "You know what? We can't just dump it. We may as well taste it." And I'll tell you what, for everything that bottle went through, and I'm not a big wine drinker by any means, but that was a good bottle of wine.
They actually do some pretty good stuff, and I have a whole cellar of them downstairs. I have one of them up here.
Are they still making a bottle every year?
I don't know. You know, I was because I worked down in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, and there was a place that I used to go to get that, right? And I stopped in there and I to get a few beers a few weeks back, and I was gonna go look and see if they actually still have those producing those type of wines, but I'm not sure. I know the one bottle that we have the